Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of KHC TV. Miss Robin, Miss Carrie, and I are happy that you are joining us again today. We're going to continue the story of Joseph. Today we are going to see how Joseph was able to help other people even when he himself was in a really bad situation. Before we see what Miss Carrie has in store, let's stand up and do some worship with Miss Robin.
Let me tell you, oh my friends, about this joy I'm living in. Let me take the mic, go on and testify how I was dead and then I came to life. No more living in the dark of night. No, everything's alright. I've been changed. I've been saved. Heartbreak fades away like a book when you turn the page. Let me take the mic, go on and testify how I was dead and then I came to life. No more living in the dark of night. No, everything's alright. I've been changed. I've been saved. Brand new day. I've been changed. Tell me why would I turn back now? There's no end to the love I found. Future's bright and there ain't no doubt. I've been changed. I've been changed. I've been changed. I put my hands in the air 'cause I know you're there. Your love did something magical. I put my hands in the air 'cause you heard my prayer. A transformation radical. I put my hands in the air 'cause I know you're there. I know it's supernatural. I put my hands in the air 'cause you heard my prayer. I've been changed. I've been saved. I can feel it. Brand new day. I believe it. I've been changed. You know I believe it. Tell me why would I turn back now? There's no end to the love I found. Future's bright and there ain't no doubt. I've been changed. I've been changed. Let me tell you now. I've been changed.
Great job, everyone. So today we're going to learn how Joseph helped other people. So let's check in with Miss Carrie as she helps us all learn that I can help others because Jesus helped me.
Have you ever made a mess? Maybe you tried to make cereal and you accidentally poured it all over the countertop.
My kittens.
Or were you walking down the steps with a full bin of toys and spilled them everywhere?
Oh no.
Some messes are bigger than others. Like dropping a few socks out of the laundry basket is really not that big of a deal. But messes, they aren't just something that happen in the kitchen or walking down the steps. Sometimes our lives can get so crazy that we feel like a big mess. Other times, our lives are more put together and going the way we feel and things just feel right. But other times, your life can be just one step away from a giant, great big paint disaster. Well, wait. Before things get messy here, let's go ahead and check out today's Bible story.
It's time for a Bible story.
The story of Joseph, part 3.
Do you need another refresher to get you caught up to speed on what happened last time?
Nah, man, I got this. Check it out. I'm gonna do a rapid-fire recap. Ready, go. Joseph had 11 brothers, and they were jerks. And then he had some dreams where everything was bowing down to him, and his brothers threw him in a pit and sold him into slavery, and then he worked for Potiphar, and then Potiphar's wife was a big jerkface and lied about him and threw him into jail. Boom.
Wow, that was actually pretty impressive. And yes, that's exactly where our story picks up. Joseph was wrongfully accused and thrown into jail, but it wasn't just a regular jail. This was a prison where all of the king's prisoners were sent, so it was extra secure. There is no way anyone was getting out of this place.
Yeesh. So I guess that's about it for old Joseph, huh? Well, it was fun while it lasted. The end.
No way, man. This is totally not the end of the story. Even though it looked like his situation was getting worse, the Lord gave Joseph great favor with everyone around him. The guards liked Joseph so much that they let him help out around the prison. They didn't even lock him up.
Whoa, that's crazy. So that's what you mean when you were saying that through this whole deal, the Lord was with him?
You bet. Because Joseph had a great attitude, was respectful, and cared about other people, his time spent in prison wasn't nearly as bad as it could have been. In fact, Joseph was so good at noticing people around him and going out of his way to care about them that one day, something happened that would change his life big time.
Oh yeah, you said last time there was this big thing coming up. Is this it?
Yep.
And you're not gonna get me with another to be continued, are you?
Well, I'll let you know next time. To be continued.
Ah, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, I was just joking. We're not done yet.
Whew, thank goodness. Really got me good there. So what happened?
Since this prison was where all of the king's prisoners were sent, there were two men that used to work directly for the Pharaoh. One was a baker, the other was a cupbearer.
Wait, a cupbearer? His job was to put bears in cups? That sounds hard. You gotta either have some big old cups or some tiny bears.
No, he wasn't a bear cupper, he was a cup bearer. That meant that he would serve drinks to the Pharaoh in a cup.
Gotcha. That makes more sense. So these guys were in jail, huh?
Yep. Since Joseph was in charge of the prison, the guards assigned these two guys to him. Then, one night, both the baker and the cupbearer each had some pretty strange dreams.
Oh boy, here we go again with the dreams. Oh, speaking of dreams, last night I had this crazy dream where my ears turned into chili dogs.
No! I don't want to hear any more about your crazy dreams. We're talking about their dreams. The next day, Joseph could tell that something was bothering them. Both the cupbearer and the baker looked like they didn't sleep very well and were all stressed out.
Well, I mean, they are in prison, not exactly a stress-free environment.
Yeah, but this was different. Joseph was very good at noticing people around him and caring about them. So he asked them what was bothering them. They told him that they had some very strange dreams, but didn't know what they meant.
I know what my dream meant, that I shouldn't eat chili cheese dogs right before I go to sleep.
Well, that's true. But when Joseph heard that they were troubled by their dreams, he thought of something. Back home, God helped Joseph understand what his dreams meant, so he offered to help interpret the dreams of the baker and the cupbearer.
Hey, look at that! Joseph's in jail. These guys go there too. Joseph can interpret dreams. These guys have dreams that need to be interpreted. You weren't kidding about God having a plan for Joseph's life, huh?
Exactly. The cupbearer and the baker both told Joseph what their dreams were, and God revealed to Joseph what those dreams meant. The cupbearer's dream was about a vine and 3 branches that sprouted grapes, and he squeezed those grapes into the Pharaoh's cup. Joseph told him what that meant, that in 3 days he would be released and would go back to his job serving drinks to the Pharaoh.
Good for him! That's awesome! So what about the baker's dream?
In the baker's dream, there were 3 baskets of bread sitting on top of his head. A bunch of birds flew up and started eating out of one of them. Unfortunately, Joseph told him that this meant that in 3 days, the Pharaoh would have him killed.
Yikes! Classic case of the old good news, bad news, huh? Did those things come true?
They sure did. 3 days later, the cupbearer was restored back to his job, and the baker was, well, let's just say he sleeps with the fishes.
What? Gross. Why would you sleep in a pile of fish? Ugh, that would smell terrible.
No, like, he took a dirt nap.
Wait, now he's sleeping in the dirt? I mean, that's better than a pile of fish, but still, just sleep in a bed, dude.
No, he died.
Oh, gotcha. Took a double dip out of the old cosmic cookie jar, huh?
Yeah, that's not a phrase. Never mind.
So what happened next? Those guys just left and Joseph stayed in jail?
Not exactly. Before the cupbearer left, Joseph asked him to tell the Pharaoh about his situation, that he was wrongfully accused of something that he didn't do and thrown into jail.
Oh, awesome. This is his chance to get set free. Did the cupbearer remember to tell the Pharaoh about him?
No. He forgot.
What? You gotta be joking me. So Joseph just stays in prison? Bummer.
He did for a while, but not forever. 2 years after the cupbearer was released, something happened with Pharaoh. He had some strange dreams and didn't know what they meant. It really bothered him.
Hey, this sounds familiar. Someone had a strange dream that needs to be interpreted. Who you gonna call? Dream Buster!
The Pharaoh got all of his wise men, sages, and the magicians together and told them to interpret the dream, but none of them knew what it meant. Then, all of a sudden, the cupbearer remembered that Joseph can interpret dreams.
Yes, it's about time you remember about him. Tell the Pharaoh! Tell the Pharaoh!
That's exactly what he did. Pharaoh called for Joseph to be brought before him and explained what the dreams were. In one dream, there were 7 fat, healthy cows standing by the Nile River. Then 7 skinny, ugly cows came out of the river and ate up the fat cows.
Hold on. Why are you giving me all the grief for my dreams? That was the weirdest dream I've ever heard.
The Pharaoh also dreamed that there was a stalk of wheat with 7 healthy heads of grain. Then 7 other heads of grain sprouted that were thin and sun-scorched, and they swallowed up the healthy grains.
Whoa, talk about weird dreams. Joseph's really got his work cut out for him, huh? What in the world did those mean?
God revealed to Joseph what the dreams meant, and he told Pharaoh everything. He said that there would be 7 years of plenty in the land of Egypt, with more than enough food for everyone. But after that, there would be 7 years of famine where there would be nothing to eat.
Whoa, that's pretty serious. So, what did Pharaoh do?
He was so relieved to know what the dreams meant. He was also so glad to know that the famine was coming in 7 years so everyone could start preparing and storing up food.
Awesome! But wait, what happened to Joseph? Please don't tell me he goes back to jail. If he goes back to jail, I'm just gonna start swinging.
No, he didn't go back to jail. The Pharaoh was so impressed with Joseph that he gave him a job. Pharaoh made Joseph second in command over all of Egypt.
What? Seriously? The big number 2? Second in command? That is awesome!
Yeah, man. The only person in the entire country with more power than Joseph was Pharaoh himself.
Man, that is pretty incredible. You were totally right about God having big plans for Joseph's life. Doesn't get much bigger than that.
No kidding. Joseph's life was totally changed. And it probably wouldn't have happened like that if he didn't notice the people around him back when he was in jail. And something else was about to happen that nobody expected.
Nice try. I see you coming a mile away. You're about to do another To Be Continued, aren't you?
I sure am. Bam!
Yep, I called it. Totally called it.
Wow, Joseph's life really looks like one of those disastrous messes we were just talking about. He was thrown into a pit by his brothers, sold into slavery, lied about, and now thrown into prison and completely forgotten about. I'd say that's a pretty big mess if I've ever seen one. You know, Joseph easily could have sat in that prison cell, keeping all to himself, feeling sorry for himself. But that's not what we see. Joseph notices that something is wrong with the king's servants. He wasn't so fixed on his own mess that he couldn't see how other people were doing. He asks them what was wrong, and then he did what he could to help. He helped them solve their problem. He heard their troubling dream, and he told them what it meant. This sounds a lot like what Jesus said in John 13:35. By this, everyone will know you are my disciples if you love one another. Does that remind you of Joseph? It does for me. He showed them love by getting into their mess with them and helping them. But this verse wasn't written to Joseph. It was written to us today who follow Jesus. You know, I think I have a way to help us understand this better. Hey, Gabriella, come on over. You seem like an expert mess maker. Can you help me out with something for Fun Friday this week?
Sure.
Guys, everybody, I want to introduce you. This is my daughter, Gabriella. Say hello.
Hey.
Let's imagine that Gabriella is a friend or a kid in your neighborhood, a relative, or someone at school or church. And her life has gotten really messy. Maybe she's having trouble, I don't know, maybe making friends at school. Or maybe there's even like a lot of fighting happening in her home. It could even be that when she is around other people, she's just having upset and having trouble when she's with her friends. You know, maybe there's trouble at her home with money. And maybe, just maybe, her family has a little trouble with sickness. If this was you, wouldn't you want someone to notice and help you with your mess? Let me see here. pretty tasty. Of course you would. We all want someone to help us with our mess, but we don't usually help others when we see their messes. Why is that? You know, I feel like we all have excuses. I'm doing good right now and I don't want to get my life into this mess and get messy like her too. Or, my life is already crazy messy right now, so I don't need to take care of me first, right? Or, I want to help, but I'm so busy and I'm really tired right now. But remember, in John 13:35, it tells us that the way that we show people that you follow Jesus is to love others like he did. Sometimes that means we have to get into their mess to help. Jesus can expect that from us because he was the first one to do it. He looked down from heaven and saw our huge, disastrous mess, our mess of sin. Remember, sin is anything that we think, say, or do that disobeys God. We've all sinned. God looked down and noticed our sin messes, and he knew that it was hopelessly impossible for us to ever get out of our sin mess on our own. Can you clean yourself up, Gabriella?
Maybe. Could you help me?
I don't think so. So God sent his son Jesus to fix the mess himself. Throughout his ministry, Jesus again and again showed that he was all about helping people in their messes. He would find the people with the messiest lives, people no one wanted to be around, and notice them, and he helped them. This is what Jesus does. Then he came the time for him to take care of our ultimate mess, our sin. Jesus was willing to let himself be nailed to the cross so he could take the punishment for our sin upon himself, to make a way to get rid of our sin. And then 3 days later, God raised him from the dead to give us a new way to live. To live a life with God apart from the mess of sin. If we truly follow Jesus, how could we not help when other people's lives are messy? If we follow the one who died to take away our ultimate mess of sin all by himself, how could we not, in some way, some much smaller way, help other people that Jesus died for? My challenge to you today is to look up from your own mess, your world, and start to notice other people. We need to help other people because Jesus helped us. It's normal for us to focus on ourselves and our own problems, but if we look up, we'll notice that we're surrounded by people with messes in their lives. If you notice them, God just might prompt you to ask them what's going on and then help them in whatever way you can, just like Joseph did. Maybe you can help a friend just by talking to them about what's wrong. Or maybe you can collect food or other items like we do for Go Bags for people that you see in need around you. It could even mean sharing the good news of Jesus with them too. It all starts with noticing. Jesus noticed you needed help, and he helped. There's someone with a mess that is waiting for you to notice them so that God can use you to help them. This week, remember our challenge. Would you put all the excuses aside and notice and help them? If you get to do this challenge, I want to encourage you to reach out to me and share with me what you did. I'm excited to see how Jesus is going to shine through you and show his love, and we can demonstrate how he loved us. Well, enough sitting around here. We need to get started on this challenge, right, Gabriella?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to look forward to seeing you again on Sunday.